I'm vibing.
16 times the detail. Shout out to the chess club. We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
I'm vibing.
Death to all of them.
We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
I'm never gonna play a shooter.
Good morning, ladies and gents. How are we doing? Are you feeling good? Are you vibing? Are you vibing? Hopefully you are. I know I am. How's everybody doing? Everybody feeling good? Everyone feeling good? Hopefully you are. I just realized one of the stories I wanted to talk to you guys about, looks like it was true. That's not the story. That's a blank screen. Just a second. And there it is. Yeah, all of the media and screenshots were copyright claimed. So apparently this whole story about Monolith's Wonder Woman is true because they copyright struck everything. So I guess we should talk about that because it's real. What? I guess. You look freaking old, dude. I know. I feel old. So yesterday, this week's a little bit crazy because it's my youngest son's birthday, and then Father's Day, and then my birthday. So we have like 3 crazy days in a row. And yesterday for Father's Day, Nikki surprised me and was like, hey, I reserved you time to get a massage, like a deep tissue massage, which I've always been interested in getting. I've never gotten one, but I've always been interested. So she did that, and I'll tell you what, boys and girls, those deep tissue massages, ooh, I don't know what I've been doing my whole life. Like, I don't know what I've been missing out on that. Dude, it's like they loosen up muscles you didn't know you had. Like at one point, she was like massaging in here, like underneath that little ridge bone, whatever, by your cheekbone. She's massaging under there because there was a bunch of like knots in there. Because apparently when I'm anxious or stressed, I kind of clench my jaw. Huh, right? But it was awesome. If you've ever considered getting a massage, go get a massage. I'm telling you what, right now. Right now. That's what I'm saying.
Whitest_rabbit is now a member. Happy B-Day, you dusty bag of bones. Also, congrats on the 100K. Now get back to dumping on SS and I'll stop glazing you.
Oh, good. Thank you, Whitest Rabbit. It's important for us to stay humble. And yeah, I am a dusty bag of bones at this point. Big old 27. 27. Unbelievable. Not even a prime number. What's the point? What's the point of having a birthday? But yeah, it's been a lovely day. I'm very, very fortunate to be where I'm at in life. And that is almost exclusively because of all the amazing things that you guys have made possible. So truly, thank you for making my life
Happy B-Day.
fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Happy B-Day. I was about to say happy B-Day to you too, but that wouldn't make sense. Kappa Claus, thank you, my friend. It's like when you're on the like phone with somebody and it's like your insurance agent or something because you're getting a claim filed on your car. And they're like, yeah, so we'll get you the claim information, then you got to pay your deductible, but we should be good to go on like Friday. You're like, okay, thanks. Love you. Bye. You're like, I don't know why I said that. Or like the same thing with a waiter, where the waiter comes and is like, hey, like, thank you for coming in. Enjoy your meal.
Mimic Terror
And you're like, you too.
$9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you, Mimic.
Hey Luke, big congratulations. Been watching you since the Far Cry 6 review. Glad to see you hit the milestone. Also,
baby.
are you going to talk about the interview Maddie did with Todd?
Yeah, so that is a great question. So I do want to talk about it. Two mitigating circumstances, because I'd like to go through like the whole thing, because I imagine there's a lot. On the one hand, I don't want to go through it if it's going to harm Maddie's video, because it's currently got some momentum. So I don't want to step on any toes or do anything like that. Because it's a good get for him, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to ride that wave. I'm just interested in what Todd said. Secondly, because of today being what it is, I'm kind of like restrained. I'm on a bit of a tight timeline. I wanted to stream just a tad because I just enjoy streaming and hanging out with you guys. So I was like, yeah, that would be a nice thing to do on my birthday. Yeah. It doesn't feel like work or anything. Like I'm just hanging out with friends basically. So I enjoy this. But we have a bit of a tighter schedule, so I'm a little more limited on time because it's going to take a while to go through that. I would imagine.
Naaman_Kagan donated $10. Yo,
thank you.
Happy birthday, dude. Greetings from Kazakhstan. Keep it up. 1M subs on main channel in 2025.
Damn right. Let's do it indeed. Thank you, Naaman. Thank you very much. That's very generous. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what the projections are showing for 2025, but that's not impossible considering how many big games are coming next year. Like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And then like this channel's growing super fast, which is wild. There's just, the whole thing is madness. This whole thing is blowing my mind. Oh, Richard, Jesus.
Josh Stork donated $5 through Super Chat.
Thank you, Josh.
Happy birthday and congrats on 100K. My birthday is on Wednesday. Cool to know we share a day week.
Hells yeah, my friend. It's a good time to have a birthday, I'll tell you what. Summer, parties in summer, at least in like high school, way easier to throw a birthday party in summer. Everybody could come, except for that one like rich friend who was always off on vacation or something and so couldn't come. You're like, fair, but I'm mad, you know? My wallet will cry next year. Yeah, especially because I think next year the big trend is going to be If prices don't rise on games, I think what they're going to do is they're going to do like 5 to 7 day early access. So if you don't want the game spoiled, you have to buy the early access, which is going to be like the $100 version. So I think it's just going to be stupid expensive no matter what. It's going to be a lot. But anyway, thank you, Richard. 10 gifted memberships. That's extremely generous. Thank you, my friend. And yeah, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you. What even was that? Oh, with Maddie. Yeah, so I want to go through the whole Maddie and Todd interview, but I think it's going to take a while because it's like an hour interview. And when we react to stuff, we tend to like double or sometimes triple the timeline of the stuff we're going through because I bounce around so much. And I really try to be transformative. Like I don't want to just hit play and then go cook a sandwich and then come back. Can you even cook a sandwich? You make a sandwich. Anyway, I don't want to do that. I don't want to just like play it and then claim it for myself. I want it to be like an actual transformative thing, and that just takes time. So what we might do is I might just come back and stream tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll do the full reaction to it. So, how did Maddie even get such a big interview? Oh, Maddie's met Todd before, like, and he's been on the radar for years.
Have you seen the news about Pieces Interactive? At this point, what is Embracers Group's long-term business plan bleeding this mean studios and developers?
Yeah, Pieces Interactive had just did Alone in the Dark. They just got shut down officially. They had some layoffs like a month or so ago. And it looks like they just decided to fully shut it down. With Embracer, it's just they can't afford, like they don't have enough money for what they have. They expanded so much because they thought they were getting $2 billion from Saudi Arabia's investment fund. That fell through. And so just like with anything else, if you thought you were getting $2 billion and then you made financial choices assuming that income, and then that income never comes, you're going to desperately cut stuff.
Donated $5 through Super Chat. Happy birthday, Luke. I also just turned 27 a few days ago. Love keeping up with the streams.
Cheers, my friend.
Thank you, Luke.
Happy birthday. We got a lot of people in here with birthdays close together. It's a good time. I think, honestly, if you're from the US, I think
Carl
this...
Fragia is now a member. Happy birthday,
Oh,
Luke.
Carl,
Been
thank
around
you.
town for 17 months, so you're
17 months. That's crazy. Thank you, my friend. That's blowing my mind. 17 months. It feels like yesterday. Anyway, but I'm pretty sure if you're born around this time, that lines up pretty nicely to that Thanksgiving vacation time period if you're in the States. So if your parents like to go on vacation or go visit family, stay in a hotel or something around Thanksgiving, I think they gave thanks and then got a little swifty and then, you know, you appeared. That's what happened to me. I'm pretty sure. Why'd you think about that? Somebody told me that because, like, you know how you always have like the one friend who just comes out of nowhere with weird anecdotes? Their thing is that they always come in with like, they hear your birthday and then they try to go back 9 months and they're trying to figure out what that would have timed out to. And it's like kind of upsetting because like some friends, you'd be surprised how many people like their birthdays line up to like, oh, so probably like St. Patrick's Day when the booze is flowing. Oh, that times out just right. New Year's, a lot of babies born in like early September. Late September could time out to that. That's like Christmas, New Year's. I'm just saying it's funny. Just saying. You can track it back. Yeah. Happy birthday, Luke. Big fan from the Dominican Republic. Thank you, my friend. Whatever Gaming. Appreciate you. June is in 9 months from November. Well, not everybody goes 9 months. But you're right. It's more like October, September. Ignore me. I'm a YouTuber. I don't know anything. Anyway, this whole thing is just kind of sad. I like, on the one hand, you don't like to see anybody shut down, but on the other hand, it's like if you're not getting like hits or turning profits on stuff, like these were their previous games. I think Magica 2 did okay. Like I don't think I've ever heard of these. You know, like if you're not making money, at what point do you just, does it not make sense? And I think that's where Embracer was. They're just like, what are the odds that if we give them another chance, we'll turn a profit all of a sudden? Probably not that high. So it's too bad. I wish them the best because layoffs suck. Like I said, my dad got laid off like a few weeks ago. It's happening not just in gaming, but all over the industry, the tech industry. Let's see. Aris, thank you for the 10. How do you always look 20 years old every year? I don't know. Once I shave the beard, I'll look 12. So that's my secret sauce. Yeah. Yeah. Luke was created for our entertainment. It's a simulation. Yeah, I've been hanging out with that. What's that tech guru CEO guy who like has been doing all of those anti-aging treatments? Tech guru anti-aging. I don't remember his name. Brian Johnson. Like he looks like he's made out of plastic, but he does all sorts of insane stuff. Like he does like blood and plasma swapping with his son. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I heard somebody say that he both looks 15 and 65 at the same time. But yeah, he spends about $2 million a year on treatments to look young. Like at that point, it's like, bro, we're getting old. This isn't gonna change. Embrace it. IRL vampire, kinda, dude.
Eric donated $5. Happy birthday, Luke. Loving the quip smiley face.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. And thank you for the $5. That's very nice. Oh, and then this, okay, tornadoes have to follow me ever. I told you guys I have like an unreasonable compulsive fear of tornadoes. It's like one of my phobias. I just cannot stand tornadoes. And like on this article is monster tornado strikes down in Iowa. Like, I don't care. It like if people say, hey, Luke, that's an unreasonable phobia. I no, it is perfectly reasonable. I don't want to be anywhere near these things. I was raised in like North Texas, like half my life. Then we moved to Colorado. And then like right as we moved to Colorado, there was another tornado that hit, which was very rare for where it hit in like Greeley, Windsor area. So it felt like my whole childhood tornadoes were following me around. And I don't want no part of them. I don't want no part of them. That's insane, Luke. That's so big. I know, I hear that all the time. And then in this case, it also applies to tornadoes. It's just, you can't do anything to stop this. Like this, you are at the whims of nature. At least like you go on the ocean and you understand that's like a real viable threat, right? You're getting like rogue waves. Okay, we got to watch out, right? But like, look at this. Rogue wave. 5 monster waves caught on camera. Yeah, like look at some of these waves. You go on the ocean, you understand this is a possibility, right? Like you understand what you're getting into. If you live in like the Midwest in the US, it's just like, yeah, you might not see a tornado for 20 years, or you might see it every week for a summer, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that, man. Oil rigs are next level though. Like, look at that. Look at that. Good morning, America. Oh, man. Anyway. Let's see. That's why I get a storm shelter, aka metal hole in the ground. That'll help. Well, that's the thing, but I'm like, there is a place relatively near us where somebody straight up built just a hobbit hole. They built their house underground and then buried it. And it's really cool looking.
Pango
They'd be
donated
fine.
€5.99 through Super Chat. Happy birthday. What do you think about Battle Pass prices? It stayed mostly the same, $10. Doesn't it make sense for it to go up soon?
With all this, it's just about finding the sweet spot when people will pay for it and when they won't. And I'm sure they've done research and they found that that's the sweet spot. Some of them have started doing premiums. They do
$5
2.
through Super Chat. Currently waiting at the DMV. You're saving my sanity. Sir, thank you.
Well, that's great.
Do you see any red flags with Star Wars Outlaws or AC Shadows?
Sure, good question. I'm surprised they're letting you at my DMV. They don't let you use your phone. They'll yell at you if you have your phone out. It's like they're just trying to piss you off. It's like, why? What? Like, we're sitting in chairs and rows of chairs waiting to go out. Why can't we use our phone? It's really stupid. But anyway, as for red flags, the only thing I'm waiting to hear about with Star Wars Outlaws is how like the open world component works, because they're selling it as like it's the first open world Star Wars game. It's all about adventure and freeform exploration, stuff like that. That's awesome. But we haven't seen any of that. Even in the stuff I played, there was none of that really shown. So I want to know about that.
Jimothy is now a member.
Jimothy.
Happy gosh darn birthday, Mr.
James.
Luke. Congrats on making it to 50.
Yeah, I'm rounding home plate. I'm on my way, or I'm rounding third on my way to home. Yep, we're wrapping up. Yeah. Oh, does that, if I'm rounding 50, then that means I officially get to have my midlife crisis and I can go buy an unreasonably expensive vehicle. I could do that. But as for AC Shadows, with AC Shadows, my whole thing is I'm just waiting to find out what like the open world looks like, what side content looks like, because this is like the last game from Ubisoft. I felt prioritized quantity over quality to an egregious degree. And they have said that they're not doing that this time, and it's a different team and all of that, but we just haven't seen it yet. We've seen a very small sliver. Today, I'll be putting on the main channel a sponsored deep dive into AC Shadows that I did. And I go into some of the details of what's like been rumored and some of those discussions, and it can be pretty interesting. I kind of like how it turned out. But that is something where like we just don't know yet, because I get the feeling they're going to release Star Wars Outlaws in August, and then they're going to in September and October blast it with marketing for that.
Luke called off today 100 in Buffalo, so now I get to finish Destiny.
Oh hell yeah, 100 in Buffalo. Oh, and it's probably humid there too, right? I bet it is. But yeah, finish Destiny. I heard the expansion's great.
Judson Watkins donated $4.99 through Super Chat. You think Fable going have gender choices like the old game that will be disappointing if they don't? Give the players how they want to play.
Yeah, I think they should clarify that, whether there's like gender selection or character creation or anything like that, because that seems to be a hang up for a lot of people. And so I would just rip off the Band-Aid. It's the same thing with like, remember with Starfield when Todd didn't want to say whether it was going to run at 30 or 60, if there's going to be like a performance mode. And so they just beat around the bush for like 2 months and didn't talk about it and pretended like it wasn't a question worth answering. It was really weird. And then eventually they answered it. People threw a little bit of a fit and then moved on. I think with this, answer the question and move on. By the time the game comes out, it'll be like something everybody's forgotten, you know? So I would just get it out there and say it, you know. If there's a character creator, why did they put so much effort into that butt ugly character they made? Well, I think there's kind of 2 ways that you can go about it. Sometimes you can have like designed characters that in a game that has character creators, and those characters are just in all of the advertising materials and stuff, and you could go that route. Other times they'll do it where it's like more obscure, so they might have like a helmet on the player character, so you can't see their face, but kind of suggesting that they can be designed. Or think of like that Dragon Age Veilguard trailer, the kind of cringy one that they dropped first, where they're like, oh, who's that? And it was the player character, but they're wearing like a mask and stuff, so you can't see their face. That's normally what you would expect to see. But this time around for Fable, they're showing a very specific character that's been the same in each trailer, which to me suggests that that is like the canonical character, which I know like some people just vehemently disagree with me on this, and that's fine. Like nobody's saying you have to play the game. I just think like it's really not that big of a deal. If it's going to be a role-playing game, absolutely getting to make your own character, or at least selecting like the sex of the character can help people with immersion a lot. That's certainly a thing, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But I think that they should just answer the question instead of beating around the bush, you know? So yeah, that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Let me refresh this. Zeeks, thank you. I don't like it, but I need it. Thank you for the hype checks. Yeah, well, you're welcome, my friend. I mean, it kind of sucks being somebody's hype killer sometimes. Like, dude, the Stalker 2 guys threw such a fit when we posted that stream clip. When I was just like reporting what I saw in the gameplay demo. Like, I've tried the game. Those people that were raging about it have not tried the game. And I was just telling them what I saw, which was that it was the worst demo I played. You know?
Through Super Chat.
They didn't like that.
What are the top 3 changes you'd make to Starfield, minor exploration, invincible NPCs, and story quality? I've wanted to like a game and failed at it before.
3 changes make to Starfield. They need more handcrafted stuff, which sounds like the DLC is going to do. They need, I think, more interconnected systems. So like they have the cool anti-gravity thing. Give me quest lines that use that in fun and interesting ways, where there's like all sorts of cool, not quite platforming, but like navigation between points using like firing your weapon in zero gravity so it pushes you back. Stuff like that could be really, really interesting and kind of clever. But there's just not a whole lot of that. So I think they need interconnected like gameplay systems, and I think they need more like higher production value, like boss encounters or capstone quests that have like big finales, because I feel like in Starfield so often you do a quest and it's just like, okay, thanks, and then it's over. So I'd like some bigger finishes to some quests, because I don't think you can fix like the exploration. I don't think you can fix the procedural generation or that. Like that stuff is just the way it is, and only a sequel will make it better. So I think that's the only stuff that you could expect to be fixed. Kenko, happy birthday, Luke, and congrats on 100k subs. Keep it going. Greetings from Uruguay. Thank you, my friend. That's awesome. I love seeing everybody from all over the world come out. This is awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. But yeah, the Stalker 2, no, the Stalker 2 devs, of course, didn't say anything. They were just totally delightful and sweet. But I made that, we talked about it on stream, where I was just like, it was the, in my opinion, worst demo I played at Summer Game Fest. And that sucks. You know, I wish they had a better showing, because what they showed at the Xbox showcase looked way better than what we played. And some people were like, well, actually Stalker 2 is supposed to be clunky like that, and you would know that if you play. I was like, cool. This sounds like mad cope. I'm just telling you guys, it was the worst thing I played. And out of everybody I spoke to, many other creators, many other TikTokers, and all sorts of different people, games journalists, and even other game devs, we would hang out with them and talk to them on like rooftop bars like this one, when we hung out with JV, who's like 15 feet tall, and Andy Reloads, and Jor Raptor, Hunter, Miranda, like all these wonderful people, and Jacob, of course, my brother / editor. We hung out with all those people. We had a great time.
Better not go live, boy.
And
playing Starfield.
Oh no.
EH. It's okay with a crap ton of mods. Have you checked out the first Descendant? It looks dope. TWU.
That's most definitely what's up.
That's most definitely
There it
what's
is.
up.
That's most definitely what's up. Sorry, I didn't realize when I flipped to the scene, it muted notifications. I'll read that in just a second, my friend. But yeah, out of everybody I spoke to that tried Stalker 2, it was their least favorite game they played. And so, like, at what point is it either like it might be some grand misunderstanding where everybody who played it just doesn't get it and it's actually a masterpiece, or the demo just sucked and the game will actually end up being really good, or the game just isn't very good right now. Maybe it gets better by launch, but like at some point you're just denying what's plainly evident to you. If 50 people try a demo and they all say it's bad, like that should tell you something. that should tell you something. But no, it's just you guys just don't like it. If you played the first Stalker, you'd understand it's supposed to be a little more difficult to figure out, and it's not supposed to be super polished. And so it's like, okay, cool, whatever, dude. Like, that's fine. I've never played a Stalker game. Am I missing something? I think some people really like Stalker. It's like a cult classic for some people. They really, really like it. I've never had the urge, but some people seemingly really, really like it. They've been really excited for Stalker 2, and partly because those trailers look so good. All I said in my video was that what we saw in the demo that we actually played looked and played like nothing like that trailer that was at the Xbox showcase. So I'm hopeful that it ends up being like that trailer, but
TV Content donated $5 through Super
I don't
Chat.
know.
Have you seen the new Killing Floor 3 gameplay trailer? Would love to see your reaction to it. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, we could check it out. I'm going back to Bite Size Cobra.
That's most definitely what's up.
That is most definitely what's up. F the sickos. Better not go live. Boy, I've been playing Starfield again. It's okay with a crap ton of mods. Have you checked out First Descendant gameplay? Looks out. That's most definitely what's up. The First Descendant, I've been keeping kind of an eye on it. I haven't delved into much of it myself, but it definitely seems interesting. I don't know. I'm so hesitant to dive into like new big things. I guess we could reach out to Nexon because usually they do previews and stuff. So maybe we could get it because it comes out like early July, I think. So we'll see. It looks good. I haven't had the chance to delve into it, but maybe we should send some emails. Maybe we need to send some emails, some strongly worded letters or something. Halzobi, thank you for subbing with tier 1 over on Twitch, by the way. Thank you, my friend. And Pango, thank you for the membership. Thank you.
Judson Watkins donated $4.99
Judson.
through Super Chat. I know you don't liking talk about this. They made Yasuki gay even though he was married to Japanese women IRL. Why would they do that?
I don't, hold on, let me read it. I know you don't like talking about this. They made Yasuki gay even though he was married to a Japanese woman in IRL. Why would they do that? Did they make him gay? Have they said that he's gay in AC Shadows? That's the first I've heard of that. Are you referring to like how they opened up? Well, no, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't. As far as I know, they haven't talked at all about sexual orientations of the player characters. Are you talking about Ubisoft? I'm just confused. I feel like I'm missing something. Fragile, thank you for the super chat. Also, HBD, Luke, and congrats on 100K. Happy birthday. That's took me that long to figure out what HBD meant. And congrats on 100K. Been watching for 2 years. Holla.
That's most definitely what's up.
The rate at which this channel is growing seems like it's going to overtake your main one. At this point, the main channel gains like... I mean, I guess I can actually check. So the main channel gains about 9,300 to 10,000 subs a month, or every 28 days. So probably about 10,000 a month. And then this channel has grown 5,600, so probably like 5,800 in a month. So the growth of this channel hasn't quite reached the growth rate of that channel, of the main long form channel, but I think we will eventually get there. Discoverability over here is really, really good. So I think eventually we could reasonably get there. It's a little crazy to think about, but yeah, it's certainly a possibility. Certainly a possibility. Are you talking about romance options? Oh, if you're talking about romance options, yeah, that's something like every RPG does ever. That doesn't mean they're turning a historical character gay. I think they're just giving romance options because people like that kind of thing in RPGs. You don't have to do it. Like, you don't have to romance anybody in Odyssey if you don't want to. Except I think you do in that one DLC, because there's like a whole kid storyline. It's like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah, the greatest thing about all these games is like we're so flooded with games right now. If you don't like something that one of these games is doing, sick. Don't buy it. It's pretty straightforward. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Damn it, I just closed one of those windows. Okay, I guess maybe let's touch on this, because this was insane and this was just funny, okay? This was just hilarious. So, news segment. I saw this article pop up, okay? And it was from IGN. And it got community noted, okay? Indie Souls-like Black Myth Wukong has seen widespread acclaim since its reveal, which is true. It looks fantastic, and it always has. It's a very beautiful, very polished game, which is awesome. It has, but the studio behind it, Game Science, has long been plagued with accusations of sexism that reflect wider issues in the Chinese games industry. Our report. Now you can see they shut off comments. Weird. You can see in the community note, the quote, sexist quote, quote, shown in the article are poorly translated. Accurate translations show the statements being vulgar, but definitely not sexist. IGN reporting on these fallacious, unverified claims as though their fact is yellow journalism, which CNs were made to combat. I think CNs being community notes. Yellow journalism just being like sensationalized headlines to exaggerate and increase sales. The English term is chiefly used in the US. In the United Kingdom, similar term is tabloid journalism. It's just a well-known thing. Like it's where you're just kind of rage baiting in some cases. But you can see in the article, like they go through their different examples of things, and it's just like poor translations of all of these different things from articles and stuff, because they use like Google Translate and stuff. Like the snake spirit is different from what I imagined, but if I cover the bottom half of my hands, it's still possible to jerk off. But apparently that's just a mistranslation, and like they're referring to her being super attractive. Which is probably a little crude. But does that mean that like the whole studio should be cast aside? Like that's maybe a bit much. Then there's also hold on, where is it? Where'd it go? Let me go back here. Yeah, okay, so what kind of reporting is this? Finally, there's the Game Science logo. which let's just look this up, okay? Game Science logo, okay? This is the Game Science logo. Does this look like an extremely sexist logo to you? No? Well, why? How? I know what you're thinking. How could this possibly be misconstrued as vulgar? Well, several Chinese netizens have pointed out that it resembles a sperm. And Game Science has yet to confirm or deny this founding or finding. Like, you're not even grasping at straws anymore, man. You're grasping at sperm. Like, what are you doing, dude? And like, even if it is a sperm, what? Like, to me, it almost looks like an asteroid or something. I don't freaking know. A bomb, maybe? You got to be wearing like sperm tinted glasses to see this all over the place. Like, everywhere I look, there's just sperm. The world is filled with them. Cancel everything. I just can't. Oh, man. So IGN posted this whole article, and again, it's just, at least people kind of lit them up for it, because it was like, it's pretty clear. They might have like a little bit of a case initially where it's like, okay, some of the devs are pretty crude and you couldn't say that kind of thing here in the States without getting fired or having an internal review, right? But they take that and then go way farther and are like, yes, and as you can see in this logo, it's a sperm, which I guess is sexist because referring to that is bad. Imagine if it was like shaped like an ovary, which you could even say it's shaped like an ovary. Would that be sexist? What? Like, I don't know what. It just gives me a headache. Remember back like a year and a half ago, somebody was like, what do you think games discussions are going to be like next year? And I was like, bro, going into an election year, people lose their minds here in the States. People lose their minds. They get like politically supercharged. They start seeing all sorts of shit in the shadows. They start to see like everything is a conspiracy. Everything is about, you know, Biden or Trump is doing something over here. Everything becomes about politics. Everything gets boiled down to the most brain rotted crap imaginable. And this is just another example of that, where it's like, guys, what are we doing? Like, can we just chill? Can we just not? Can we not today? But it's only going to get worse for the next few months. Tell you what. Is this backlash for rejecting SBI's offer? Somebody mentioned that on stream the other day, but the only article I could find about that was like a post on a forum attributing it to some Chinese report or Chinese media outlet that they couldn't link. So I don't know if that's actually true or if that was just constructed stuff. I honestly don't know. Like, it's not impossible, but I don't know if it was verified that anybody actually saw it. I don't know. You want to see something really outrageous? Look at this. Look at this. Michael did some good discovering and digging on this. So there's this guy you might have seen on X. And if it ever loads. Come on. So he's now started hiding his replies and locking them down and stuff. Because basically this guy was going around and saying that he was a historian. So the official Assassin's Creed X page blocked me for speaking the truth. All I've been saying is that Yasuke was not a samurai. There's nothing written anywhere that says that he definitely was a samurai, and they know that. So they blocked me for continuing to prove it. And so he did all these things saying that he had these degrees and that he had done all this research and stuff. And he's trying to tag Elon Musk with all these hashtags for some reason, like going on the offensive. And people that really liked the kind of narrative he was putting forward started retweeting him like crazy, started quote tweeting him like crazy, giving him all of the social cachet he was looking for. Turns out there is a very good reason to believe that he's just some dude in the US that's pretending to be a Japanese historian for clout and clicks. There's multiple occasions where he has made posts like this, where he says he's in Japan, that he lives there, he's speaking with other people. And yet there's also old tweets that he's made. What's happening to our country in November of 2023, referring to a Thomas Jefferson statue being removed from New York City Hall in New York City. And he's like, what is happening to our country? Which is a little weird if you live in Japan. Why are you saying our country about something happening in New York? It's a little weird. The Wayback Machine has his like old username as well, as you're referring to in chat. And so now, get this. This is what he's saying. It gets better. What he's saying now is that he has been role-playing. He is actually a Japanese historian, he says. But he has been LARPing, not as Kenji, but he's LARPing as a character, basically, named Garrett. And it was an experiment, which has now proved to be very successful. See, it's all part of the master plan. He changed his name to sound American to discuss American politics and other things with Americans. Classic Garrett. Yeah, exactly. Classic Garrett. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'll tell you what. It seems like he's just a dude who was really upset that they put Yasuke in the game and then took some historical liberties, let's just say, and established him as a full-on samurai. And so he started pretending to be a Japanese historian and tagging all sorts of different creators and stuff who like to push the narrative that he was pushing, got all sorts of clout, and then got exposed and is now claiming that it was all a social experiment. And the more you dig into it, the more embarrassing it is. And like, look at this. Like, these people just ran with it. Like, this is the thing. You just... Yeah, the Kenji Yamamoto running this account. So, like, you can't believe everything you see on the internet, okay? You can't believe everything that you see. There are people actually pretending to be historians just to be outraged and to give people that like to farm outrage, I guess, ammunition. And it's just nonsense. In this case, like, if you want to be upset about it, if you don't want to play AC Shadows because of Yasuke and the historical liberties that they took with that, as Assassin's Creed often does, like, I hate to break it to you, the Pope was never a magical, like, or a magically infused being with supernatural powers, okay? I guess some people might actually disagree with that. So maybe that's a bad example.
Player donated $3. First episode of House of the Dragon S2 was sick. I look forward to the next episode. Have you seen it yet?
I have not. I've been out. We've been watching Only Murders in the Building. Just finished season 3 finally. Dude, that show is so good. If you have not watched Only Murders in the Building, do it. Season 1, really good. Season 2, it's a poopy. Season 3, very good. I mean, Paul Rudd is in it, so could have told you that. But yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. 100% recommend it. Yeah. So anyway, all this to say, if you have a problem with AC Shadows because of Yasuke and what they're doing, kind of massaging the historical record, that's fine. You don't have to buy it. Like, you don't have to give them your money. It is okay. But also at the same time, I don't think it's fair to then like try and shame anybody and everybody else that just wants to play it because it looks like a fun game. Sometimes that's all that really matters to people, is if it looks like a fun game, and that's it. Like, that's all that really it comes down to. They're not that concerned with historical accuracy or whether the game is messaging something. Like, they just want to play a fun game. And that's why I've said, like, with Suicide Squad, I do think that some of the activists that were involved in that game's development, from what I can tell, I do think they made the game notably worse in many ways. And I think you can demonstrate that pretty easily. But even if all the writing was fantastic and all the character designs were amazing and all of that stuff was great, it would still be a bad game that you shouldn't buy. And that's my point, is if you're going to try and convince people not to buy a game, do it by discussing how bad the game is. Because that's something that is demonstrable. You can point to it. It's not a matter of opinion, right? Like, you can just show it's a bad game. Even if the writing is amazing, it's still a bad game. Like, you know? Oh, man. I just got that massage and I'm already tightening back up. Let's see. Anshuman, thank you for the super chat. Luke, did you get to try anything from Black Myth Wukong at SGF? Happy birthday from India. Thank you, my friend. I did not get the chance to play it. I knew some people that did get to see it, and I mean, they only had great things to say about it. So like comparing it again to like the SGFs or the broader SGF stuff. If everybody that tries a demo has good things to say about it, that's a pretty good sign, because everybody, you know, with their own perspectives went in, tried it, saw what it had to offer, and evaluated it in that way. On the flip side, like if everybody tried a demo and left pretty worried, that should also tell you something. Didn't they say Black Myth isn't a Souls-like too? Yeah, they specifically said it's more of an ARPG than a Souls-like. But I think when you say Souls-like, people find it much easier to understand that, oh, so it's a difficult game. I think for the average gamer, that's all that really means to people. It's a Souls-like game. Oh, so it's hard. That's all they're really looking for. You could add in other stuff like, well, you rest at like bonfires and then you go that, like that type of thing, which I think is where you get into the more nuanced definition of Souls-like. But yeah, anyway. Are Souls-like not ARPGs? I think Souls-like are ARPGs, but not all ARPGs are Souls-likes. You know? It's like a black swan is a swan, but not all swans are black. You know? Yeah, we'll be looking at the Todd Howard interview, I think tomorrow, because it's like an hour long and I want to go through the whole thing. And I just don't have time today since we've got some like birthday plans lined up. And yeah, thank you, Michael Strain, for the super chat. Yeah, we'll be going through it. Also, Elden Lord Slat, thank you for the 100 bits. They have improved Starfield a lot. I'm personally enjoying it. Also, happy birthday, Luke. All love. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I mean, you guys know I am working on a pretty hefty critique of Starfield right now. And, yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff for it. I mean, like a lot of stuff. So there's going to be a lot to go through. And it's certainly better now than it was when it launched, but it's, man, it's not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart. Like I said, I think it's the best that it's ever been, but it also started pretty rough. And there's also been other improvements they've made that I don't know. I'm thinking they might they might not actually make the game better. So, anyway, releasing in parts. No, we're going to drop the whole thing. We're going to launch it alongside a new Patreon so you guys can get your names in the credits, see it early. And then I'm really excited to do exclusive videos. So what I want to do is, like, if you're a member of the Patreon at a certain level, I don't know what it's going to be, but like not stupid expensive or anything, but like if you're a member at a certain level, you'll get access to at least one monthly video that only you guys see, only patrons see. And it could be something like a studio tour, or I take you and I do like a vlog at a local game shop, or I vlog one of our D&D nights so you can see kind of what that's like and the game that I'm running for my friends and stuff like that. And all sorts of little stuff like that. Because the reason that we don't normally do that stuff now is because, like, if I'm going to have members of my team help me edit something or do something, like, of course they're getting paid, but if the video is going to just tank in performance, that's time that is just kind of wasted for them because it's just burning cash. But if it's part of like a Patreon project, then we can justify doing it, you know, which could be super cool. Vlog Jacob drinking whiskey. Dude, we could do that. Jacob goes hard for whiskey, I'll tell you what. It's a little crazy. Internet Mouse, gonna take off here. Luke, hope you have a great birthday here, friend. Congratulations on 100k subs, friends, and I hope you have a great day, everyone. See you all. Thank you, my friend. See ya. See ya. Yeah, the exclusive video for July is just a 2-hour video of Jacob sitting in a chair quietly sipping whiskey, just staring at the camera. It's an art piece. Yeah. Sheer oddity. The historical accuracy thing is stupid. I like Star Wars. Should I not? Because it's scientifically inaccurate. It's so stupid. I think it's just, I get the vibe with a lot of stuff. People are upset about something in a game, and so then they're looking for reasons to feel justified in being upset about it. And I've had people reach out and they specifically will say stuff like, they'll say stuff like they like watching like my reviews or critiques because it puts into words what they felt. Like they felt that this game wasn't coming together, but they didn't know how to phrase it and how to put it into words. And so I think sometimes there's stuff like that where a game can feel like it's been built by committee, or it can feel like it was built to check off boxes to make executives happy and stuff like that. And so sometimes you go that route, and that stuff could be absolutely true. My point is, a game can be built by committee and can still be good. It's just pretty damn rare that it's good. You know, it's very, very rare. So I don't know, it's not as simple, I don't think, as some people make it out to be. Do. Did I see Tim Kane's video about this subject? I don't think so. Tim Kane. The name sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know. News segment. I want to talk about this real quick. Do you guys remember, like, maybe a year or two ago, there was that story that broke because CD Projekt Red had a bunch of their stuff like hacked and broken into, and it was pretty devastating at the time. And it actually, there's a good argument that could have been a main reason for them moving to Unreal Engine, because all of their source code and stuff got leaked. And when that happened, it was like stolen by these hackers, and then it was sold on the dark web somehow. And we didn't really hear anything else about it after that. But guess what? there was a leak recently. It's not really a leak anymore because it was stolen and it's now canceled and it's already been out there, but now it's actually out there. It's complicated. But this leak shows a canceled Moon DLC for Cyberpunk that was going to have a new map and was planned to basically be the blood and wine of Cyberpunk. You can see like all new areas were being built, all different sets. They were in the early stages of this. It was just gray boxed basically, which is like the very first step of building levels is you go in there with big gray objects and you just kind of build out roughly where you're going to go and how you're going to walk and stuff like that. But not much else. But they were working on it at some point. They were working on it. And it of course was canceled and never saw the light of day. Insider Gaming did a full report on it. They could probably be regarded as the defining rags to riches game of our lifetime. It emerged in 2020 to a woeful reception, boasting more bugs than any game ever released probably, and hitting an all-time low with fans in terms of sentiment. It was an absolute shocker for CDPR, but it was ultimately turned around, and by the time the game's first and only expansion was released, it was regarded as one of the best open-world games ever made. Recently, evidence emerged online of a canceled DLC set on the moon, which was plenty of lore surrounding it. In the Cyberpunk universe. In a series of images, we see concept art, blueprints, file repositories, and some map-based data for what might have been the first out-of-map expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. And this makes sense because there was that one ending. Was it the error? No. Which ending was it? It's been too long, dude. There was the one ending where you're in the spaceship outside of like the space hotel, and it was suggesting that maybe that was going to be the expansion. That's where they were going to go with it. Was that the Arasaka ending, or was that the... I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Oh, was it the secret ending? Do you mean the one when you... I thought you could get it in two different ways. Anyway, it's beside the point. The point is, they kind of hinted at that in the base game. People thought that they were maybe going to do something in space, but it just never came to light. Phantom Liberty was released in September of 23 and emerged as one of the best expansions for a game ever made. It heralded a new generation of Cyberpunk 2077, which from then was penned as Cyberpunk 2077 2.0, and for a good reason. It was the ultimate turning point for the title, with CDPR signing off and acknowledging that the game was in the best state it would ever be. Recently, images emerged on social media diving into the discovery of an unnamed moon-based expansion for Cyberpunk. In the game's universe, the moon has been colonized and cities have been built on the rocky satellite. It's being used for resources and is a key point of interest for the corporations that effectively run Earth by the time of Cyberpunk's story. It reportedly has a population of around 58,000 people, and it would have served as the base of operations for their second and final expansions. In the string of images uploaded online, we get a look at file repositories, rough map of the proposed moon location, and shots of some early conceptual images and set pieces. And as the story goes, CDPR originally intended for the moon to be featured as a location in the base game, but recognized that that was too ambitious a goal, so they cut the content and instead decided to use it for an expansion, which ultimately never surfaced. And since then, they have officially said that they have ceased development on Cyberpunk, so it is not going to ever see the light of day. And this is the actual post where they discuss this. So some of you probably still remember the huge CDPR leak from 2021. There were many interesting things that got essentially ignored because everyone focused on the third-person alpha build from 2013. One of those things were files for the moon expansion. As we all know, Cyberpunk was supposed to get multiple expansions, not just Phantom Liberty, and it seems that this moon expansion was supposed to be the Cyberpunk's Blood and Wine, bringing an early new map, or entirely new map. I'm going to share with you whatever I found and whatever I found interesting. I didn't data mine and discover any of this. As we know from the leaked bug montage, the devs thought the game would be done in 2022. With COVID happening, it would probably get delayed to 2023 when the game was actually hit the should have been like this at launch state, with PL for Phantom Liberty releasing a few months later. The Moon expansion would probably come out a year later, like Blood and Wine in 2024 or even 25 or 26, depending on the scale of the project, and now it's never going to happen. I think this expansion would take place during another corporate war or covert operation. There are multiple endings or multiple things, signs, quests throughout the base game that suggest the world is on the brink of another corporate war and that regulation or relations between corps are very tense. I recommend reading these links to give you an idea of the state of things on Moon and tensions between corps surrounding the Moon. So all sorts of stuff there, but you can see actual directories in the files referring to these: bomb crater set, Cosmodrome, the actual map we saw earlier, mass driver, old landing pad, zone north, NC base, zone west, all sorts of different things. Just looks like a pretty gigantic map. I mean, if you think of it on the scale of Blood and Wine, that's a pretty big endeavor. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. You can see some early game assets, things that were built in it, actual levels and things. What does that say? Oh, I can't quite make it out. It's probably in Polish. It's probably not even in English. Same with like these signs. They're probably just placeholder null objects or something. But this, another base, missing mesh. But they were starting to kind of lay it out and figure out what it was going to look like and how it's going to work. Yeah, with the way that Phantom Liberty's storyline played out, I bet the upcoming machine wars start on the lunar surface. What little background lore there is paints it as a relatively small population colonies with absolute cutting-edge tech, production, and labs, while having mass destruction weapons like mass electromagnetic accelerators to throw big things really fast at Earth. Meanwhile, Blue Eyes is recruiting runners, and shipping them on mouse to the Moon. Songbird and Lucy are the most prominent examples for players. Sounds like a great place to breach the black wall and unleash the big boy AIs into corporal forms taken on by very big, very deadly machines. Cerberus, seen in Cynosure, was merely a maintenance bot, and it almost killed V if Songbird had not interfered. Yeah, there's so much potential with this. Do not use in the game, Moon Rover. Yeah, so I mean, it's cool to see that they were working on it, but this is why when games launch in a broken, buggy state, it can be permanently damaging. In this case, we did get kind of the best outcome we could reasonably expect to get, which is that they fixed it and it runs great now. We got a fantastic expansion in the form of Phantom Liberty, but we'll never get this expansion. But it shows that they were hopeful they could get this lined up, have a couple of big expansions, and you can tell that the executives that were greenlighting all of this, they really expected it to probably be another Witcher 3 situation, that it launches, few bugs here and there, we polish them, we release a couple of DLC expansions, and we're good to go. And they were genuinely shocked when the game was just a total dumpster fire at launch, because they just didn't know the state of it. There were all sorts of communication issues and stuff like that. But now they're moving on. They're not using this engine anymore. They're going to be doing totally different stuff, different tool sets, everything like that. And here's to hoping they figure it out. Here's hoping. Never release a broken game. Yeah, it's again, I appreciate that they fixed it, because so often these games release and then are just dumped. I mean, Redfall's kind of the latest example of that. So I'm glad that they followed through on it. And that's something like even I think Bethesda Softworks deserves some credit for. I mean, even BGS themselves, Fallout 76 was an utter atrocious disaster, probably worse than Cyberpunk was. The only thing that made Cyberpunk particularly bad was that it released and sold on PS4 and Xbox One hardware, and they refused to give media access to that before launch, and so still sold pre-orders to those platforms, even though it was straight up unplayable on those platforms. Fallout 76 was basically unplayable on all platforms. so there was that. But anyway, they eventually figured it out, though. They fixed it, and now a lot of people love Fallout 76. So I think companies deserve credit when they figure this out. Of course, we can be like, well, it should have never been like that in the first place, which is absolutely true. But at the very least, I think they deserve some credit for sticking it out and fixing it. Because, again, as we've seen, it's real easy for them to just go, we'll get them next time. Cancel it. You know. CDPR offered everyone refunds, but Bethesda didn't. Well, CDPR, the interesting thing with that was that PlayStation stepped in and unlisted the game from the PlayStation Store, which I don't think happened with Fallout 76, did it? I don't think they did. I think that was a pretty unique move. So I don't know. Andre, thank you, my friend. 20 months. Damn. That's crazy. It didn't. No, it didn't. Yeah.
Andres Tello Marinas is now a member. Happy birthday, Luke. Much love.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Much love to you, too. But I think that was because of CDPR, not PlayStation. You mean you think it was CDPR that asked them to unlist it? Maybe I'm making this up. My recollection is that PlayStation specifically delisted it. It wasn't that like CDPR took down the store listing. It was Sony that pulled it. Let's see. Sony has removed Cyberpunk from its PlayStation Store and says it will give players full refunds for digital copies. The shares tumbled as much as 20%. Let's see. They posted a page. Let's see. Following our discussion with PlayStation, a decision was made to temporarily suspend the distribution of Cyberpunk on PlayStation Store. You can still do it. So they're making it out like it was a collaborative thing that they worked together and decided. Let's see. They said in a brief statement, that now doesn't exist. But it says in a brief statement that they strive to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction and would offer players full refunds for digital copies of the game. I get the impression that Sony probably called them and said, we're offering full refunds. People are freaking out. And, yeah. While we know the developers of CD Projekt Red have worked hard to ship Cyberpunk in extremely challenging circumstances, we also realize that some players have been unhappy with the current experience on older consoles. Microsoft said, yeah. So I could see how you could interpret that as CDPR worked with Sony to decide to do that. I read it and I get the vibe that Sony called them and said, this is what we're doing. And yeah, they were kind of like G Mendez says, they were voluntold. Yeah, they were welcomed to agree. But yeah, Sony doesn't normally, they're not that forgiving with refunds and stuff. So it's pretty rare to see that. Oh, great. News segment. It's been confirmed, guys. You've been waiting for years for the news. It's just confirmed as of minutes ago. It's happening. It is officially happening. Are you ready? Highlight of your day is about to happen. What a birthday treat that this happens on my birthday. Sony confirms Uncharted 2, the movie, is happening. Wow. Wow. I did not like the first movie. I thought it was like laughably bad. There's entire shots and scenes that are just missing where you can tell like they ran out of money. And so they were like sitting on a raft at one point and they're like, let's get off to the beach. And then they just cut to the beach. Like they just didn't want to film like the process of getting there. It's not very good. Mark Wahlberg, I like Mark Wahlberg as an actor. I like Tom Holland as an actor. I think they're both fine. But like the whole Sully not having a mustache thing was really weird. It's like they were obsessed with him being like young and sexy. And then they saw the fan outrage over it, so they added a post-credit scene where he has the mustache, and it's like, why didn't you just do that for the whole movie? And it's because they filmed the whole movie, saw the outrage over it when they started doing marketing, and then they filmed a post-credit scene to be like, see, with you, the fan service, be happy with us, please. So it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But it was not one of the better video game adaptations that I've seen. I hope the second one is even better, but time will tell. It seems to have done okay. They said it made what? Yeah, ranking as the 5th highest grossing film based on a video game with a box office total of 407 million. So there's that. So we'll see. It's still probably a ways out, but that's happening. That's happening. Oh, hashtag not my Sully. Yeah, it was just it was a weird casting, and then the story wasn't very good, and it just, I don't know. I just didn't really like it. I was like, it's a solid like 6 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not good, you know? Like for me, it just didn't really click. Okay, Norcat, that's an underrated comment. Tom Holland? Nah, I prefer Tom Netherlands. That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. I'll give you that one. Yeah, maybe they can improve it. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, let's be real. I'm still gonna watch it. New segment for real this time. This story kind of went around late last week, because they released this stat where apparently only 62% of Elden Ring players, or 62%, hadn't defeated the boss Moog that you need to defeat before you take on the DLC. As I mentioned, you guys, I got to try the DLC already at SGF, and it was super, super cool. You know, I can't go too much into it for obvious reasons, but it was super, super cool. And the DLC is extremely difficult. Like, as they've alluded to with all the other previews, the characters that they gave us to try were level 150, which is like, you've done pretty much everything in the base game, without like farming and stuff. So you're expected to be pretty high level. They have a sort of secondary leveling system that I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk a whole lot about, but anyway, they have a secondary leveling system that's going to help you specifically only in the DLC. So it's supposed to give you much higher power without needing to just, you know, grind higher levels, which is nice. But people were freaking out about this. Like, wow, they got to figure this out. I saw some people saying that From Software should make it so you can launch the DLC straight from the main menu, so you don't have to play through any of the base game to get here. And my view on this is just like pretty straightforward. In my view, the DLC is extremely difficult, right? That's not a mystery to anybody. At least it shouldn't be, to be just very, very clear. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. The DLC is going to be very, very difficult. And considering that it's going to be very, very difficult, there's a certain level of preparation that players need to do to get ready for it. Because this is not one of those DLC where you're going to just be waltzing up and then taking on like, oh, cool, it's a little DLC. It's not like Hearts of Stone or Blood and Wine for The Witcher, where you can pop in with a sort of archetype Geralt and then respec him a little bit, get him where you like him, and then just play through this pretty straightforward series of missions and stuff. The bosses you fight in this DLC are harder than anything in the base game by like a good wide margin. Maybe there's one or two in the base game that might be on this level, like Millennia or even Moog himself if you're not properly leveled, but like it's going to be damn difficult. So I think to open it up to any players from the main menu could actually do it a disservice, because you'd end up with players who only put 10, 20 hours into the base game, got to level maybe like 30, 40, and then stopped playing for whatever reason. And then they're going to try getting into the DLC and be woefully unprepared for what this has to offer. Like, some of these bosses, dude, are ridiculous. So I just I'm okay with them having a little bit of a not quite grind, but like you have to be pretty deep into Elden Ring to be able to take on the DLC. Like you have to kind of earn your right to play it. And some people could be like, well, but I'm paying for it, I should be able to play it even if I haven't done that. Okay, like that's why I think they should be very clear, as they have been, that you need to have done this stuff in the base game before you can take on the DLC. And I think they're doing that. You know, if they were super secretive about it and then people bought the $40 expansion on day one and then tried to launch it and found out they had to grind another 30 hours of the base game to get there, that would be, I think, justifiably upsetting for some people. But I also think that they're not doing that. They've been very, very transparent and clear that you need to reach this point in the game to be able to take on the DLC. And so a lot of people are spending the time now to prepare for it. A lot of people are grinding it out. A lot of people are specifically working to get either a new character leveled up or whatever else. And that's what I've done. Like I've gone and I actually created a brand new save file starting like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I started from the beginning of the game and I worked all the way up to Moog, and I'm ready to go. Like, let's do this thing. And I would highly recommend that any of you who are interested in doing this do something similar, because this is going to be like, again, your muscle memory needs to be intact. Okay. Like you need to be ready, because it kind of assumes that you are just as fresh off of the base game as you were back when you played it for the first time. There is no like, let's ease you into it. From this Vista, which is where this DLC like starts, all of the encounters immediately expect you to be on your A game. Like there is no, let's ease you into it over an hour or two with kind of easier enemies and stuff. No, it's just buckle up, buckaroo. Here we go. Buckle up, buckaroo. So I think the story is a wee bit of a nothing burger. In addition to that, hearing that 62% of players have not finished the Moog fight, I don't find that surprising. Like, honestly, Moog is not one of the like mainstay enemies on the golden path through the Elden Beast. You are going to get near him, but a lot of people might not even go to his arena by the time they finish the game. So that's one thing to consider, is that it's not like necessary. A lot of people might not have honestly ever really come across him or thought that they needed to fight him. In addition to that, you're not ever going to get one-to-one DLC sales. Like if you sold 10 million copies of your base game, you're not going to get 10 million DLC copies sold. You're going to get some percentage lower than 100%, converted. For a game like this that is universally acclaimed and really hyped up, a lot of people are going to buy it. It might be a 50, 60, 70% conversion rate of people that actually buy the DLC. But it's not going to be 100%. And those people that fell off of Elden Ring after 10, 20, 30 hours, or even after just a few hours, because there were a lot of people that bought this because it was so hyped up. It was getting 10 out of 10s. Everyone was talking about it and playing it. There were people that bought it and tried it and just realized, oh, it's a Soulsborne game, basically. It's an open world one, but it's still that. And I just don't like those games. And so those people put the controllers down and moved on and never finished it. And they're not going to be buying the DLC. So this whole story, when everybody was like starting to freak out about it, and I saw people calling for From Software to, you know, basically retcon it and decide to let people launch it from the main menu, I just don't see it as that big of a deal. Frankly, it seems perfectly reasonable to me that they would expect you to prepare for the DLC and to be warmed up for it. And I don't think anybody who's like a big fan of Elden Ring is honestly that upset about it. You know, I don't think anybody who is like a hardcore Elden Ring fan is complaining at the idea that they have to be prepared. And honestly, a lot of Elden Ring fans have been replaying the game specifically for this, so they're ready. And so they're probably gonna fight Moog all over again just in preparation. And what I will say again, having played it, not the whole thing, but having tried the DLC myself, for the love of God, be prepared. Because, whoo baby, even with a level 150 character, I was like, God damn.
Fearless Wolf donated 20 pounds through Super Chat. Happy birthday, you handsome devil.
Thank you, my friend.
Today, we celebrate the day the world was graced with your charming smile, dashing good looks. Here's to another year of you turning heads and making the rest of us look bad in comparison.
Fearless Wolf. Careful. My wife's going to be upset that you're boosting my ego too much. Man, careful. Thank you, my friend. And 20, that's 20 pounds. Very, very generous. Thank you, my friend. Happy birthday, Luke. I beat Melania first time just now. I'm so lit. Brendan, congrats. That is an actual achievement when you defeat Melania. I think with so much of this stuff, it's great to see people getting excited for it again. I'm excited for the DLC. I asked the devs a handful of questions that I can reference. So like I asked them about new summons and stuff, new ashes. And they said, yeah, there's going to be, I think they said 10 is what they're expecting. There are roughly 100 new weapons. Some of them are going to be just variants of other stuff that you've seen before. Or like it could be there's a new type of sword. And then there's like a fire, a frost, a shock, so those are included in that 100 weapon count. But there's a lot of different stuff here. My question immediately was, okay, what about larval tears? Because so many of these weapons you need to respec to really get a feel for them, Like if you get, let's say you are a pure strength build. You have the build that's entirely about like the one of the characters I've been using is all about strength. And so he uses the big concrete block, with the handle, and he just swings and it's super fun, staggers like crazy. But I was like, if I'm using that and I want to go and swap and start using like perfumes instead, or if I want to swap and start using, I don't even know, magic or whatever else, like just something that's a total pivot, I can't just equip that weapon and see what it's like, because I'm not at all spec'd for it. So I have to use larval tears to respec my character and then be ready to take it on after that. So I asked them, can I buy larval tears now? Is there something like, one of those bells that you can take in and then you get the ability to purchase larval tears just to respec? And they paused, because what this was like is we were basically, it was me and Jacob in a room sitting on a couch. And then on either side of us were two people from Bandai Namco that one of them was a PR person, Tanner, delightful individual. And the other gentleman, I cannot for the life of me remember his name, but he was somebody much more familiar with the game. I don't think he was a dev, but he was very, very familiar with the game. And they paused when I asked them if you could buy larval tears. They're like, I don't have definitive information on that. I don't think you can, but I know that there is at least one in the DLC. And I was like, okay. Because here's the problem where like, I think players could get into trouble. If you're like me and you got like all the way through the game and then you were really, really excited to like try out a bunch of different weapons, you would go and you would get larval tiers and try out different weapons and respec a ton. Larval tiers, though, if I look up in the guide, so there are a lot of them in the base game. They're needed to go to Renala to get rebirth, and that's how you actually like fully respec. And they are considered a key item, and here are where they are listed. And so there are a good number of them. But if you've played the game for like 150 hours and you've tried a lot of different weapons, you might have gone through most, if not all of these, you know, and with 100 new weapons in the base game or 100 new weapons in the DLC, you're definitely not going to be able to respec to try even a good chunk of them, because if you played the base game and you respect a handful of times, there's only going to be so many of these things remaining. Now, in my new run through, I've just been doing pure strength builds, so I just haven't respec. I haven't needed to, because it's just like you get more points, vigor, stamina, or endurance, whatever, and strength. Easy peasy. My weapon scales to strength at S level, like, you know, specking that character is pretty straightforward. I don't need to do too much. But if you were a player that respec'd a ton and tried a bunch of different weapons, that is something to consider. Maybe it's worth getting a new character or a new run going to stock up on some of those larval tiers if you want to try a bunch of new weapons, because they didn't seem to feel confident that there were going to be that there was going to be a way to respec super flexibly. It seemed like you were going to be much more limited. So that's just something to think about. I'm so ready at level 402 to conquer. Here's my question, Dexter. Is that still base game or is that new game plus? Because I asked them about new game plus in the DLC. And one of the guys chuckled and was like, I would start on just the base game. And so I'd be scared. Like when I asked them, hey, would I try New Game Plus? Like, should I do the DLC on New Game Plus? Is that something that you'd recommend? They're like, I'd start with the base game. So I don't know how this DLC scales in New Game Plus, but the fact that they laughed at me when I asked would suggest that maybe it's a bad idea. I don't know. But again, they have like their own leveling sort of enhancement that only applies to Shadow of the Erdtree, so like it doesn't scale when you're in the base game. So maybe it's just totally independent and it won't matter, and they were laughing just to freak me out and troll me. I don't know. That's the problem. It's like they might just be trolling me, or maybe they were being legitimately like straight up. They're like, I would do base game, man. I wouldn't push too hard on New Game Plus. Because I think it was all the DLC, like Ringed City for Dark Souls 3 even scaled with New Game Plus, but I don't think they had their own scaling system for the DLC. So this is pretty unique in what they're doing. So I mean, you're going to find out real quick, I feel. I feel like if you go in and you're in like New Game 5 Plus or something, and you go into the the connection dropped. Hold on. Please hold. I'm waiting till it catches up. All the frames drop. Hold on. Catch up, Mr. Internet. Catch up. Are we back? Are we back? I think we're back. The internet freaked out for a second. I think we're back. Maybe. 51:57 dropped. Okay. Yeah, I think we're back. Okay. Anyway, now that we're back, what I would just say is I think if you were somebody going in at like New Game 5 Plus or something in those older games in their other DLCs, it would scale pretty hard and it would be a slap in the face if you weren't properly leveled even within the DLC. And even then it was always a little bit harder than it should be. But with this having its own like independent scaling, it seems maybe it's just not even a problem. Maybe it's just going to play the same for everybody, whether you're New Game Plus or base game. I'm not sure. So I guess we'll see. We'll see very soon. It comes out like 3-4 days. So buckle up, buckaroo. I don't know. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday, you beautiful man. Thank you, my friend. I'm expecting Orphan of Cost level boss in the DLC. Yes. And of course, no spoilers, but yeah. Yeah. This one of the complaints I heard people say about Elden Ring was that it was too easy. There were ways you could make it harder on yourself, like no summons, no like no arts, no respecking. You know, there were things people did to kind of make the game artificially more difficult, and you can certainly do that if you want. But from what I've seen, it seems like this, if you're not using any like summons, if you're not using some of those tools that they gave you, you are especially going to have one hell of a time. So, yeah. Man, maybe that's a sign. The internet's just freaking out. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. It's still chugging. It's working on it. It's getting there. It just is passionately dropping frames today. I don't know why. Okay, I think we're back. Oh, maybe that's a sign. So now that we've been going about 2 hours, that's about where I've got to call it. Like I said, it's my birthday bash. So I've got some stuff to do, but I think we can call it there. Ooh, babe. Thank you. Asiago Bagels, my favorite. Right as the internet's dropping out, she brings me Asiago Bagels. Thank you. I can't be trusted with these. Thank you, my babe. Okay. Anyway, we'll call it there because we're kind of booked up for the rest of the day. I appreciate every single gosh darn one of you. Thank you for 100,000 subs on the live channel. Thank you for making my dreams a reality. And over the next few days, we've got some big stuff coming. It's gonna be good. We got the Elden Ring DLC coming, so we're gonna be drowning in that for a day or two for sure. So just wait. Until next time, everybody. Yeah, all these are gonna be gone in 20 minutes, I guarantee you. Much love, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next stream, probably tomorrow. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.